welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down the 7-game MLB DFS slate on DraftKings and FanDuel. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please take a moment to leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. I'll be here all MLB DFS season long, breaking down these MLB DFS slates to help you guys become better MLB DFS players, help you guys win some money night in and night out. That's the goal here. And don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video for my home run call of the day. And if you are getting very serious about MLB DFS, I do offer an MLB DFS premium package that's linked below in the description. You get access to all the same tools that I use when building my own DFS lineups. Off to a great start. I've got some good feedback over there. Just revamped the Discord as well, so you get some more direct access to ask me questions all you want, as well as, you know, join the KJK DFS community. You can bounce questions off each other, get familiar with each other, and yeah, all that fun stuff going on there. And let's go ahead and start getting into the breakdown of this video. Don't forget to check out Prize Picks as well. Use promo code KJK DFS to receive a 100% match when you deposit up to $100 today. All you got to do is go over to Prize Picks. It's a great new format. You can pick 2, 3, 4, or 5 players. Go up, pick whether they're going to go over or under their projection, and you can win a certain amount of money based upon that. For instance, if I pick 5 players and I get all 5 right, I get 10x my entry, whatever I put in for my money. If I pick 4 players and I get 4 correct picks, I get 5 times my money, 3 correct picks, 1.5, etc. As you drop down, you can see the payout gets a little less. Obviously, the least amount of players that you pick, the more realistic it's all going to hit. But great format, excited to be partnering with them, and you can definitely use this breakdown to figure out your picks over there. So let's get into the breakdown today. And as always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by K rate. It's fantasy sports, so we get points for strikeouts. Figure out the pitchers we're going to play in the slate, and then we'll break into bat in the second half of this video. 34.3% K rate today for Max Scherzer, taking on the San Diego Padres. 16.1% swinging strike rate. 37.2% K rate against righties, and a 31.3% K rate against lefties. Very good across the board. Ground ball, fly ball stuff is very good. Against lefties is where he struggles the most, so those lefties you got to be a little bit careful of, but we know it's Max Scherzer. We know he's one of the best pitchers in the league, and we know anytime he takes the mound, he's got a bunch of K upside. Taking on a San Diego Padres lineup tonight, that's a little bit less than ideal of a matchup. But you always got to have interest in him. He's 10-9 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they're going to price it at 10-4. So he's going to be the guy that you're really looking to start things off here as far as K rate is concerned and all that fun stuff. Upside, got to like Scherzer. He can give up some hard contact, but the K upside's always there. And in the same game, we have another guy that's in the same boat. Yu Darvish, 31.1% K overall, a 13.4 swinging strike rate, 35.4% K rate against righties, and a 27% K rate against lefties. Very, very good across the board is Yu Darvish as well. And I would say his matchup's a little easier than the Padres lineup. I don't know. The Nationals are starting to get a little healthy, unfortunately, is the part. They didn't have Trey Turner in there for a while. They do not have Kyle Schwarber, though, on the good side because, you know, he's one of the hottest hitters in the league. Got an absolute tear before he got hurt. So Darvish doesn't have to worry about facing him in the leadoff spot. But Trey Turner, Juan Soto, Josh Bell, you know, all the regional bats, Starling Castro, Yan Gomes, Josh Harrison. But there should be plenty of Ks in there as well. And I think that Yu Darvish is another guy you can look to. 11-4 on FanDuel. Over on DraftKings, they got a price at 10-2. And these two are definitely going to be the top pitchers on the slate as far as K rate for sure. But we do have Alek Manoah taking on a Baltimore Orioles team that does strike out quite a bit as well. A 29.1% K rate overall, 13.4 swinging strike rate, 30.7% K rate against righties, and a 27.4% K rate against lefties. This guy's had some very impressive K stuff out of the gate, so you got to have interest in him every time he takes the bump. Only problem is this game does look like there are some serious weather concerns, so got to keep an eye on that as on top of the fact that it looks like there's 14-mile-an-hour winds blowing to straightaway center, 78 degrees. That's not going to be the most ideal pitching weather, but if you're striking guys out, it doesn't matter because they're not going to get the ball on the bat. So I do think that Alek Manoah is still a viable play if we get confirmation that that weather is not going to be an issue. Looks a little scary first look, so not sure. Tariq Skubal taking on the Minnesota Twins is a guy that has seen his K rate really climb recently, has been pitching a lot better. 27.6% K overall, 12.4 swinging strike rate, 28.3% K rate against righties, and a 24.7% K rate against lefties. Does still give up a lot of fly ball, hard contact to righties. However, you could say that a lot of that had to do with early on in the season when he was really, really struggling. But last time out, taking on a Chicago White Sox team that hits left-handed pitching really well, did get blown up 5 earned runs. He still had those 6 Ks. So it could be a little bit of a matchup-dependent thing when it comes to Skubal going forward. Reminds me a lot of like a Robbie Ray early on in his career in the DFS industry, where a lot of strikeouts are there, but a lot of hard contact. So he's either going to go out there and pitch a great game for you fantasy-wise, or he's going to get blown up. It could be a little bit scary. Today he's taking on a Minnesota Twins team that does have a 5.07 implied run total against him. So take that for what you will. As far as the overall matchup, he is taking on Nelson Cruz, Ryan Jeffers in the middle order, that crush lefties, Miguel Sano. There are quite a few strikeouts in there as well, though. And yeah, I think it's just a high risk, high upside play. If you want to play him, I wouldn't call you crazy, but just know what you're getting yourself into. Adbert Alzolay taking on the Philadelphia Phillies, 26.8% K overall, a 31% K rate against righties, and a 22.2% K rate against lefties. Very, very good against righties. Very, very bad against lefties. So Alzolay, you really want to target against right-handed heavy lineups, if at all possible. And when looking at the Philadelphia Phillies lineup today, it is pretty right-handed heavy. They only have Bryce Harper, Didi Gregorius, Travis Janikowski as lefties. There's only 3 lefties. The rest are righties. So if there was ever a time to target Alzolay, this could be the spot. And there's 12 mile-an-hour winds blowing in from left center in Wrigley Field, which, if you haven't watched my content before, is the field that is most impacted by wind. If the wind's blowing in Wrigley, it's a big deal. If the wind's blowing out in Wrigley, it's a big deal. So you got to keep your eyes on that. And I think the Alzolay, for that reason, could definitely be a viable play today. I mean, the guy's got a 31% carry against righties. Pretty much the whole lineup's right-handed heavy. Could be a little bit of a sneakier and better play than some people think. Tyler Mahle's definitely a guy I'm excited to play tonight because he gets the matchup in the Milwaukee Brewers, a 26.6% K rate overall, 27.2% K rate against righties, and a 25.9% K rate against lefties. Good across the board as far as K rate, and whenever you're targeting a team that strikes out as much as the Milwaukee Brewers, with his type of strikeout upside, you got to have interest, and I think this could be the cream of the crop matchup for Tyler Mahle. I think he's got a huge ceiling tonight, so he's definitely going to be a top option of mine. 8-7 over here on DraftKings. Last time out, he had 7 Ks, time before 7 Ks, time before 8 Ks, time before 12 Ks, and he's been right around the 1-4-3-4-1 range. Last time he took on these Milwaukee Brewers was in that game he had 12 strikeouts. Makes sense. So you gotta like Tyler Mahle today. Taijuan Walker's taking on this Pittsburgh Pirates team. The Pittsburgh Pirates are a team that I've been targeting all year. They really aren't a good lineup, but they have made some adjustments to their lineup to limit their K upside recently. They're still not good, but they're not going to strike out nearly as much. They have a lot of contact hitters going on in there, so I'm not getting as excited to target this Pittsburgh lineup as much. Taijuan Walker is definitely still going to be a viable play, but I'm not getting too excited when you can go to a guy like Mahle, who we just discussed. Keegan Akin taking on the Toronto Blue Jays, a guy that struggles against right-handed hitting. No thank you. JT Brubaker taking on the New York Mets, a guy that's been pretty inconsistent across the board as far as his abilities against right-handed hitting, and he does have some walk issues against left-handed hitting. So on the bright side, he's in New York. It's a great pitching environment. The Mets have a 4.41 implied run total. I tend to think you're getting a little cute if you're going there today. We do have Danny Duffy taking on the Cleveland Indians. He could be an interesting option, and that's probably where I'm kind of dropping things off here. I mean, Zach Eflin taking on the Chicago Cubs. He's a guy that can have some high strikeout upside if he gets the right matchup, and the Chicago Cubs do strike out a lot. We had mentioned the weather blowing in, the wind blowing in Wrigley as well. So if you want to go there, that's an interesting option, and that's pretty much what I'd be looking to on the slate today. J Happ gets a good matchup against Detroit, but he's just not good, so I'm going to pass on that. And with that being said, let's go ahead and transition over to bats. As always, I like to go ahead and sort my sheet by Sierra, scale interactive ERA. It's a good way of determining how good a pitcher's been in the past and how good a pitcher's been in the future. J Happ is the worst on the slate right now. Terrible Sierra, ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible, hard contact stuff is terrible. He gives up a 5.13 slugging at righties. Against lefties, he is much more effective. He's a left-handed hurler himself. But pretty much every single righty in the lineup you could have interest in. As far as the Detroit Tigers, Jonathan Scope, Jaime Candelario, Miguel Cabrera, Eric Haase, Robbie Grossman, Zach Short, Willie Castro, Jake Rogers. All those righties you got to have some interest in tonight. My favorites would be Jonathan Scope in the 2 spot and Eric Haase in the 5 spot for their power against left-handed pitching. Like those guys a lot. Second on the list, we got Danny Duffy taking on the Cleveland Indians. Ground ball, fly ball stuff is not good. Once again, a guy that gives up a lot of hard contact to righties. Not quite as bad as J Happ, but does give up a 4.32 slugging, 34.1% hard contact rate. Ground ball, fly ball stuff is still very bad. And he's taking on a Cleveland squad today that has a 4.81 implied run total. So if you want to target these guys, it's in Cleveland. It's 80 degrees, 2 mile-an-hour winds blowing out. Looks like it's very humid, 72% humidity, which does help the ball carry. So Ahmed Rosario, Jose Ramirez, Franmil Reyes, Harold Ramirez, Roberto Perez, Ernie Clement, Oscar Mercado. All those righties are going to be the ones I'm really looking to today. If you want to get contrarian in your lineup, you can definitely throw in a Bobby Bradley because he's the only lefty in the lineup. Probably going to lower his ownership because it's lefty on lefty matchup. So if you want to go there, no issues with that. Zach Plesac we had discussed against the Kansas City Royals. Actually, no, Zach Plesac's the guy that we didn't discuss, so sorry about that. But guy has just a low K rate, really nothing across the board that's all too impressive. He's a lot better against limiting contact to lefties, but against righties is where he struggles. So Plesac is not a guy that I want to target pitching today because of that reason. He struggles against righties. The Kansas City Royals do have quite a few righties in their lineup. Whit Merrifield, Salvador Perez, Jorge Soler, Hunter Dozier, Michael Taylor. They are starting to get a little bit left-handed heavy, more so than they were, though, with guys like Ryan O'Hearn and Andrew Benintendi healthy now. Carlos Santana. So Plesac, a guy that we really want to target with right-handed hitting. The Kansas City Royals stack is okay. I'm not looking to target Plesac. I'm not looking to really get all that excited about the Kansas City stack would be my final conclusion there. Zach Eflin, very simple to break down. Good against righties, bad against lefties. Really want to target this guy with left-hand hitting. Pretty bad across the board. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. A 5'11 slug and give it up to those lefties. So any Chicago Cubs lefty that cracks the line, we got to have interest in. Like I had mentioned, wind blowing in from left center, but maybe the righties, it doesn't impact quite as much if they're yanking the ball down the right field line. So Jock Peterson at the top of the order, Anthony Rizzo, Jason Hayward, Ian Happ, and Sergio Alcantara are all going to be good options today. Any lefty against Zach Eflin's really where you want to go. So Keegan Aiken taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Ground ball, fly ball stuff's terrible. Really gives up a bunch of slugging to both sides of the play. Against right-handed hitting specifically, very bad. A 490 slugging given up. Against lefties, it's still at 480 slugging given up. The ground ball, fly ball stuff's not much better, but the righties is where it's really intriguing, and the Toronto Blue Jays have a very right-handed heavy, nasty lineup up and down. Once again, this game might not play, but if it does, it's going to be a tremendous stack. Marcus Semien, Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., George Springer, Teoscar Hernandez, Randall Grichuk, Lourdes Gurriel, Santiago Espinal, and Danny Jansen. It's going to be all right-handed hitters. All guys that you're definitely going to want to have interest in if Aiken's on the bump today. Taijuan Walker, not a guy that I'm really looking to target at all, to be honest, especially with that Pittsburgh lineup. Adrian Hauser against Cincinnati, very simple to break down, very good against right-handed hitting, very bad against left-handed hitting from a slugging aspect. Still does do a very good job keeping the ball on the ground, however, so not all too excited in targeting him, to be honest. If I am targeting him, it's going to be with those left-handed bats, especially in Milwaukee. I love targeting left-handed bats in Milwaukee. Pulling up the diagram here that I always like to show you guys. Right field for left-handed batters does play very well to those left-handed batters in Miller Park, so I always like targeting those guys here. And if doing so, it's going to be Jesse Winker, Joey Votto, Tyler Naquin in the middle of the order, and then we have Tucker Barnhart at the bottom of the order. So Cincinnati lefties are going to be in play. Albert Alzolay, very similar, very good against righties, very bad against lefties, but he gives up a lot of fly balls against lefties, and his slugging is even worse, a 551 slugging given up. So any Philadelphia Phillies bat that cracks the lineup that's a left-handed hitter, that's going to be a trend in this game. We like the lefties on Chicago. We like the lefties on Philly. So Bryce Harper, Didi Gregorius, Travis Janikowski, going to be great plays today. Tariq Skubal, you really want to target with right-handed power, so Minnesota definitely does have a few guys that you could fall under that umbrella. And Nelson Cruz, Ryan Jeffers, Miguel Sano, those three guys are going to have your high upside bats. You can throw any other righty in that Minnesota stack in with them as well. Throw a lefty in to get contrarian in your stacks. So if they get to that Detroit Tigers bullpen, both of these bullpens in this game are really bad. I should mention that. So Detroit bullpen's terrible, Minnesota bullpen's terrible. So if they're able to get the starters out of this game early, this could be a game where there's a lot of fireworks. So that's something to keep in mind if you're stacking up those two teams. And then the last two guys that we want to talk about would be, JT Brubaker, you really want to target with right-handed power. That's where, you can really capitalize against him. So on the Mets lineup, Pete Alonso obviously going to be a great play today. And you can run out your stacks with guys like Nimmo, Lindor, Dominic Smith. It's not like he's completely untouchable against lefties, but we do prefer to target him with the right-handed power. And then that's pretty much it, guys. Alek Manoah is a guy that you can definitely target with left-handed power in Baltimore. Don't even know if this game's going to play, as I've mentioned. You could definitely target Yu Darvish and Max Scherzer with left-handed power as well. They're going to be low-owned guys. But as far as, Baltimore, Cedric Mullins could be a great play at the top. Anthony Santander could be a great play. These guys are very right-handed heavy, so it's going to be a great matchup for Manoah if he's able to take the bump, and I'm going to like him a lot. And then Yu Darvish and Max Scherzer, both elite pitchers, both guys that people will not play any bats against, but you definitely can play lefties, specifically against Max Scherzer. He gives a lot of fly balls, a lot of hard contact. So does Darvish too, though. Not quite as bad as in the fly ball category, but they're both very similar in the fact that when they do struggle, it's against left-handed hitting. So you could definitely play some of these elite left-handed bats like Juan Soto, Josh Bell on the Washington side, and then on the San Diego side, Jake Cronenworth, Trent Grisham, Eric Hosmer, and that could be a contrarian play that no one has that makes you stand out from the field. So like those calls as sneaky plays today. And with that being said, before I let you guys go, I got to give you my home run call of the day. Let's get into it. And my home run call of the day today is going to be Nelson Cruz taking on Tariq Skubal. Absolutely love this spot for him. Skubal, a guy that gives up a bunch of fly balls, a bunch of hard contact, a bunch of slugging to right-handed hitting, a 5.10 slugging given up to righties, 38.7% hard contact rate, 50.4% fly ball rate. The only thing you really have to worry about with him is the strikeout rate, a 28.3% K rating overall against righties. And one thing that people may not realize is that Nelson Cruz only strikes out 14% of the time against left-handed pitching, has a 304 ISO, absolutely mashes lefties. And when breaking down what Skubal throws for his repertoire, on average you're looking at about a 95 mile an hour fastball, 94 mile an hour fastball, and Nelson Cruz mashes that pitch off left-handed pitching, a 625 ISO with a 504 WOBA. And the secondary pitch, Skubal really relying on the slider. He crushes that as well. A 481 ISO with a 512 WOBA. Ridiculously good spot for Nelson Cruz. Love this spot for him. And then he gets to take on the Detroit Tigers. Bad bullpen, double home run upside here for Nelson Cruz. Love the spot. Get him in your lineups because he is my home run call of the day. So there you have it, guys. Nelson Cruz, get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please give a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, that would be greatly appreciated. And then if you stay tuned to the end of the video, last time I had discussed a KJK DFS merch giveaway. We'll be breaking out the credentials for the official giveaway here in the next video, so stay tuned to that. If you stay tuned to the end of this video, I do appreciate you. Please comment down below KJK DFS merch giveaway. I'm going to be compensating those that comment the most. You know, give you guys a few more bullets and higher chances of winning that prize. That's the goal here. Really want to give back to the people that support. So I will be giving out the final breakdown of how that giveaway is going to be going. That'll be launched, and then we'll be giving away some free KJK DFS merch the first of the month next month. Thank you guys for watching. Wish you all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.